We are on the bottom of 6a. Okay, so we asked, morning before. So we asked that when you gave this lady food, it sounds like all we were worried about was miser. Maybe yeah, maybe not. But what about them just switching the food? Maybe they swapped it for their own food. So you gave your neighbor your own dough. Maybe she swapped it for her own dough. But yet, it doesn't say that we're worried about that. So, v'lachlufe lo chayshina. Are we not, 3 lines from the bottom on 6a, are we not worried about switching? The Hatnan, it says in the Mishnah, Hanosein lechamoso. So, you're hanging out with your mother-in-law. So, we'll see if that's a good thing or a bad thing. No, I'm kidding. Hanosein lechamoso. So, Hanosein lechamoso, meiser es shehunosein la, the es shehunot tamimeno. The food you gave her to bake, and we're assuming that she's not the most knowledgeable. So the food that you gave her and the food that you get back, you have to take tithes from. Why? We're worried that if she senses that the food you gave her, the dough you gave her, is going bad, she's going to swap it for better dough. She wants you to have the best. After all, you're taking care of her daughter, right? So, obviously you can't cook, so she's cooking for you. But so not like you cook, yeah. So she swaps the sour food. So says the Gemara, no, there's no. So what do you see from there? You have to be worried. Maybe she swapped it for her own food because it was going bad, and therefore she doesn't know to take off tithes, and therefore whatever you get back from her, whatever you gave her, you have to take off tithes. So says the Gemara, well, there's a special reason. You can't bring a rule from the mother-in-law because Hassam, Tanya time, Amr Yehuda Pitakanas Bita, Ubrosha Me Chosna. It's family dynamics over here. She wants the best for her daughter. She's too embarrassed to tell her son-in-law that, you gave me the expired dough. You bought that Trader Joe's last year. Yeah, so therefore, that's why she does it. But everywhere else, where it's not a mother-in-law, daughter, and son-in-law situation, it sounds like you don't have to be worried about them swapping the food. Next page. But in general, no need to worry. Wait, is that true? The Hatanan, it says in the Mishnah, you're staying at an inn. So back then it wasn't like nowadays. You're not staying at the Sheraton. There's a lady who's an innkeeper. She's taking care of you. She's cooking the food for you. So Hanosein le pundakis shalo. So you give her, she has an oven, you have dough. You didn't travel with your, portable grill. So you go there, or your portable oven, you give with your own dough. Yeah, but you travel with your own dough. Exactly. So, Hanosein le pundakis shalo. So now what do you do? Meiser ashu nosin. The ashu no talimenu. Same thing. Whatever you gave her or you get back from her, you got to take off tithes, take off meiser. Why? Because we're worried that she swapped. So and here it's not she's not your mother-in-law, so she doesn't have the best intentions for you. So it could be, who knows what it is? It could be a non-Jew, it could be anybody. So you have to worry that she stole your thing and swapped it with her own. Maybe your dough is better. It's kosher dough. Who knows what it is? So Hasam Nami Moria. There too, she rationalizes and says, Va'amra barbe rav lechol chamima, va'ana echol krira. Better he should have the hotter food. The Torah scholar staying in town, he should have the warm food, and I'll eat the cold food. So so I guess your dough, your bread wasn't as fresh. The one that she's going to make you is much better. So therefore, once again, you can't bring a proof from here, because here also she has your best intentions in mind. The innkeeper wants the Orthodox Jew to make sure he's comfortable. So third try, is that really true that we're not concerned that they're going to swap your food for their food? Tanya Eishes Chaver. So now you have a woman, the wife of a Torah scholar, who's grinding. They have a mill and they're grinding with a lady. A lady's helping her, who's married to an unlearned man. So they're together grinding. Now, The thing is, when a lady who's knowledgeable, when she's impure, she knows not to touch the food, because then it's going to impurify it. So the question is, the lady that she's working with might slip her some food. It sounds like she's playing on the away team, meaning she's at the other lady's house. I don't know, maybe she's using her mill, but we're worried that the lady that she's grinding with, is going to go give her some of her food. So v'hatanya eishes chaver tochenes im eishes ama aretz bizman she tmeya. If the lady is impure, so then she's already accustomed that when she's impure, she's not gonna touch the food. She'll just mill it, but she won't come to touch it. Aval lo bizman she tahora. But if she's tahora, then we are worried that she might if she's tahora, then she's not accustomed to stay away from food, and therefore this lady might slip her some food which doesn't belong to her. Rabbi Shimon Elazar Omer Apizman Shitmeya Lo Titchon. Even when she's impure, she shouldn't mill with this lady, because it's going to beep. Don't worry, it makes a beep.
No, I put too much water.
So it's what do you call it? Because she's worried. So the from lady's worried. The non-from lady, what's going to be? She's going to give her food. Now hold on, the food doesn't belong to the non-from lady; it belongs to her husband. So she's basically going to steal from her husband some food and give it to this lady, as friends do. So says the Gemara, 1 second. So you're worried here about stealing. She might take. Maybe she doesn't realize it's stealing, but she might take from her husband's produce and give it to her friend. So hashta migzal gazlach lupimi bai. For sure, if you're worried about stealing, you're for sure worried about that they might swap the food. So, yeah. So it sounds like here the learned lady is helping mill produce of the non-learned lady, and we're worried that the non-learned lady is going to go and give her some food. Now, if she gives her food, so has not been tied. So you see, we are worried. Not only worried about maybe tithing, but worried that this lady might take food that doesn't belong to her and give it to her friend. So Amar Rav Yosef Hasan Nami Muria, she rationalizes over there also and says, Amar Tura Midisha Ka'achil, literally that an ox eats from the threshing floor, meaning that when someone's helping you, so you don't view it as stealing. If you're taking food when someone's helping you, you're just supplying them food, as help, but you don't always have permission to do that. Right? This when the kids' friends are over, so now they think the whole house is open to give to their friends. So they go, because it's for my friend. I'm not stealing, right? So yeah. So at least doing your father's not home is much better. So or maybe not. So yeah. Okay. Now we're almost up to the story of Rabbi Ben Yair soon. Hey, Rabbi Yeshua ben Zaruz. So now Rabbi Yeshua, the son of Zaruz, who's the son of the father-in-law Ben Chama Shel Rabbi Meir. Now, I think in genealogy, this will make him brother-in-law, unless it's a step, right? He's the son of a father-in-law. So it makes you a brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So unless it's unless somehow it's maybe it's a stepbrother. I don't know exactly. But either way, Rabbi Yeshua ben Chama Shel Rabbi Meir, it says it in an interesting way. Lifnei Rebbe, that he said in front of Rebbe, that Al Rav Meir, he said about Rav Meir, She'achal Allah, she ate a leaf of a vegetable, the base Sha'an. That's funny. I was in Beis Shan once in Israel, but I don't think it's the same place, because Beis Shan in the north is it's in Israel. This place is a whole question if it's considered part of Israel. So maybe it's the same place. I don't know. So what happened? There's a place where they never ate from because people there never took tithes. And Reb Meir's brother-in-law is testifying that Reb Meir ate a leaf of a vegetable from there. Reb Yehuda, Reb Yehuda Nasi heard this, and the Hitir Rebbe as Beishan Kula al Yado. He now permitted for all the Jews that they're allowed to eat from there, and you don't have to be worried about that it wasn't tithed. So everyone got very upset about this. Chavru alav achiv. It sounds like his friends, meaning his colleagues, gathered up against him, so to speak, and they said, "Chavru alav achiv ubeis aviv." People, probably his colleagues, his fellow rabbis, and people from his household, they said, Amrulo, they said to him, to Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, Makom shavosecha, va'avos avosecha, nagubo iser. Your father's house and your father's father's house, everyone prohibited eating from this place. Because it was you could assume that the food was not tithed. So, and yet, ata tinog baheter, and you permitted it. There's a certain breach. There's a certain breach over here. It is interesting because there's a parak in Pesachim that's a whole parak about this, that going to a place is talking about doing work Erev Pesach. So it says if you're in a place where they don't do work, you can't go in and do work there to follow the custom of the place. It's interesting how that fits over here. But either way, you allowed it to be eaten. Now, the reason why, so the Gemara assumes now that Reb Meir held that this area of Beis Shan is not officially part of Eretz Yisrael. We'll see why. And there happens to be a very, very big question. What is the status of taking off tithes in a place that's not Israel? Which are rabbinic and which are permitted as a whole to do? Rashi holds, and this is definitely a big debate, is that only grain in Chutz La'aretz is rabbinic. But vegetables, Rashi understands that in Eretz Yisrael, vegetables themselves are only rabbinic, and in outside of Eretz Yisrael, they're not decreed upon. So therefore, Reb Meir held Beis Shan was not in Eretz Yisrael, and they never decreed upon vegetables that are not that are outside of Israel. So definitely not everyone agrees with Rashi about this, but this is how he understands. So therefore, Rav Meir, who ate from this area because he held that this place was not considered part of Israel, and it was a vegetable, which is only rabbinic even in Israel, according to Rashi. So this is outside of Israel, and therefore they didn't make a decree on that. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, based off that story, allowed people to eat from Beis Shan based off Rav Meir's testimony about Rav Meir. So now, Darash Lahan Mikrazet. So the Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, had to defend himself a little bit. Everyone's attacking him. This is prohibited for generations, and you came along and permitted it. Who are you? So Darash Lahan Mikrazet said the key says Nachas Nechoshes. So in the times of Chizkiah, they destroyed this Nechash Nechoshes. The Kitas Nachas. It's this copper snake that was made from Moshe Rabbeinu's time, right? That ended up healing the people, right? Just the snake killed, the snake heals. So, and it was around in Chizkiah's time, and he ended up destroying it. The Kitas Nechash Nechoshes Asher Asa Moshe. Why? Because you know how Jews go, right? They believe in Hashem until something else has powers, and then next thing you know, they start believing in that. He would start sacrificing to this copper snake by Karlo Nichoshasan, and they would call it Nichoshasan. So Chizkiah saw this is not good. We gotta. It's very dangerous to start believing in intermediaries, right? To fend for you. So he went and he destroyed it. Now, parenthetically, we're going to ask 1 second. Before Chizkiah, there were different people that came along and destroyed all the idols. So how was this left over in Chizkiah's time? Why did no one destroy it before him? Efsher ba'asa velo biru. Asa was before him and didn't destroy it. But Yehoshaphat velo biru. Yehoshaphat came and he didn't destroy it. They both destroyed a lot of idols. V'halo kol avodah zara sheba olam asav Yehoshaphat biru. They destroyed all the avodah zara in the world. Next page. Ella, a phrase that's used sometimes. Makom inichulo. They left space. They left hinichlo avosav lehiskaderbo. They left him space to grow. Yeah, you don't have to do everything in the house. You want to let your kid do something so he can grow up. So they sounds like they knew about Chizkiah. So they left him some of avodah zara that he should be able to get the merit of also destroying avodah zara, which is interesting because the longer you keep it around, the longer it's a danger of Jews serving it. Yeah. So that's interesting how you balance that. How you balance that value? That value. You want to help your colleague, advance in the business, but you also don't want the rest of the Jews to, So either way, that's what it says. That they left him a place to grow and able to also to destroy Avodah Zarah. So says Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, Afani Makom Hini Chuli Avosa. You want to know how everyone treated it as prohibited, and I came along and permitted. They left me something to permit, so I could show my, so I can also raise myself up in the ranks of the rabbinate. Everyone knows that the rabbi that's lenient. Well, I don't know about nowadays. Nowadays, either because he's not knowledgeable, that's why he's lenient. But out of the knowledgeable rabbis, the one that's lenient is always the one there's more. You see his greatness more when he's lenient, because it's always easy to say it's prohibited. It's much harder to say it's permitted. The Gemara says koach de hetera adif, when the strength of the permittedness is greater. So they left him a place to answer this question, to be able to be lenient over here. So now from here you learn mikan le Talmud chacham, to a Torah scholar she'amar dvar halacha, who says a matter of halacha that even though it might sound like pretty funny to you and you never heard it before, like in this case, however, you see from here three different ways to say it, three different opinions of exactly what you say. The first is your ein mazichin oso. Mazichin here means you don't move him, meaning he said it. You never heard it before, but you don't move him from his post. You inquire, but you don't remove him. So just like here, they inquired, but they didn't reject him. They didn't throw him out. They still accepted Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. They didn't remove him from his post. The Amri Law, some say ein maznichin oso. You don't get disgusted with his words. Ugh, this disgusting, lenient, who knows what. And v'amrila, some say ein maschichin oso. What you don't say is that his gaiva, his haughtiness, got to him. You see from here that they accepted Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, even though this sounded so strange to them. They didn't remove him. They didn't reject the words, and they didn't say that his neglect. Yeah, they didn't say his haughtiness got to him. So now we're going to bring interesting 3 psukim with each of these words. That it says you shouldn't move the breastplate. You shouldn't move the choshen, the breastplate with all the tribes on it from the breastplate, meaning it was ingrained in the breastplate. It couldn't move from there. That word yizach, you don't move him from his post. Uman the amar ein maznichin, the one that said ein maznichin, which meant you don't get disgusted by his words. Dichsiv kilo yiznach la'olam Hashem. God is not disgusted from Eicha. That kilo yiznach la'olam. Don't be disgusted by us. Hashem is not disgusted by us. Uman damar maschichin, and the one who said maschichin, that we don't say, oh, it was his haughtiness that got him. Ditnan, interesting. Misharabu zichuche halev rabu machlokas b'Yisrael. Like the Rambam brings that for a long time there was not so much dispute in the Jewish people in halacha, but it says the Brisa says that once the haughty hearts arose, so then machlokas, once too much of yourself is in it, so then Rashi points out that they were too into their own rulings. They weren't as precise in their rabbi's rulings, and therefore we lost what he held from generations earlier, and therefore now we have machlokas. Exactly what did he hold? So, but it all started from a little bit of the zechuche halev, of the haughtiness of the heart. Interesting. Okay, now Maska for Rabbi Dovid Gleizer of Shimon ben Pazi. Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi asked, "Umi ikal aman damar de Beishan lav married to Yisrael." This whole presumption was that Rav Meir held that this place Beishan is not part of Eretz Yisrael. Says Yehuda, the son of Shimon ben Pazi, is that true? The Haksiv, the lo horish Menashe es Beishan. It says that the lo horish Menashe, he didn't destroy, I believe, as Beishan, as Benoseha, and the people there. The es Tanech, as Benoseha, really means the daughters, but I think it means he didn't drive them out. And the place called Tanech and the people there. So meaning he didn't drive them out because he held it was part of Eretz Yisrael. So he left him there. So Ishtamit Had Amar Shimon ben El Yakim. So this matter that was said over in the name of Shimon ben El Yakim, in the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Padas, in the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Shemua, slipped Rabbi Yehuda Hanazi. Slipped Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, meaning he who paskins, who ruled that you can eat from Beishan because not part of Eretz Yisrael. The following matter slipped his mind. So what was that matter? The matter was as follows: Harbe Krachim Kavshim Ole Mitzrayim below Kavshim Ole Bavel. There's many villages, many areas, many towns that the people from Egypt came and conquered, but the people from Bavel did not conquer. And therefore, and the Kasavar, we know there's a big debate if the original Kedusha stayed or didn't stay. Because Savar Kedusha Rishona, Kitchel Shaita below Kitchel Asilav, that first sanctity when they entered the land of Israel, when Yeshua brought them in, there's a debate that original sanctity lasts or not. So, and he holds Kedusha Rishona, Kitchel Shaita. It was holy for that period of time when they got exiled, so that holiness left. The low Kitchel Asilav, and it was not sanctified for all generations. And the Hinichum, they left it. The people of Babel, they left it. Why? Because during Shemitah, very hard for farmers. So if you leave it and don't make it part of Israel, it's permitted to work that land. That it's permitted for the people of Shvias to work the land. And Beis Sha'an was one of these places. So this answer, when Rabbi Yehuda, the son of Rav Shimon ben Pazi, asked this question. So this was the answer. The answer was that he held that Rabbi Yehuda Nasi held that really this was an area that was not conquered with the Ole Bavel, the people from Bavel, and he held that the first sanctity did not last. Therefore, it was not considered part of Israel. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, Rabbi Zera, the Harev Meir, Allah, the Almahuda Achil. 1 second. What did Rav Meir eat in the story? He ate a leaf. Who said a leaf is liable in Meiser? Meaning, there's a rule that only eating from food that's like from a meal is prohibited. But snacking on something is not prohibited. So eating a leaf is not necessarily the prohibited tithes. So it's not prohibited because it's just snacking. You haven't finished necessarily your work on the food, and you set it aside now. You're just taking a snack, and that's permitted. So says the Gemara, no, but Amar le ma'aguda achila. No, he took from food that was already bound, meaning it was from food that was finished. You finished working the food; it was all bound up and now you're liable in tithes. And from there, he took a leaf. Bitnan yerek hanegad, so misha yagad, a vegetable from the time it's bound together, like the same word as by lulav. It's together, but you bind it together. And aguda is a group that's bound together. So a yerek hanegad, misha yagad, that a vegetable once it's bound up, from the time that it's bound, that's like the finished step in the growing of the vegetable. From that point, whatever you're eating is going to be liable in tithes, including even a leaf. Says the Gemara, okay, v'dilma lavadaite. Maybe he ate something incorrect, meaning maybe really he didn't realize. He thought it was not yet bound up, and he ate it. So really he ate something incorrectly. But you can't base the whole story off of that. Maybe he ate a leaf that he thought it was not yet at the time of bounding. That makes you liable. Maybe it was just a snack. He snacked on a leaf. So says the Gemara for the third time, maybe he said, what do you mean? Even an animal of tzaddikim, God doesn't bring downfall upon them. Tzaddikim themselves, it's not logical that they would eat something prohibited. Okay. The dilma, but maybe you could say, maybe they were tied from a different place. So says the Gemara, no. Even though you could do that, you could tithe from field A onto field B, but lo nechshenu chaveirim litram shalom and amukaf. Chaveirim is usually refers to Torah scholars. They are not suspicious of taking off from an area which is not right there. Meaning they always take off from in the immediate proximity because maybe the area that's farther away, maybe it's rotting, or maybe there's not so many vegetables there. It's less. You don't know as much about it, and therefore they always take off from the parts right here that they could see, from their immediate vicinity, not from somewhere else. Okay. What you could do is you could look at one side of the field, and you could think or maybe verbalize that you're taking off meiser, and that works for this side. Amarle, he says, Chazi man gaver rabba kamasid aleha. We see how great his brother-in-law was, who testified upon him that he knew all of this. He knew all of these potential situations that would make this leaf meiser, and yet he still came with 100% certainty that what Rav Meir ate was non-tithe food, which is fine, because Rav Meir held it was outside of Eretz Yisrael. Even though you have all of these ways that it could have been tithe, and therefore you're not allowed to permit eating with not tithe food, because there's no proof, but still his brother-in-law was such a great person that we could rely on him, that he knew all of this, and he still said what he said. Okay, here's the famous story. So it's going to go back. I don't know if I finished the whole page, but we'll see. Mai behemtan shel tzadikim. So we keep saying for 3 times over, animals of tzadikim, downfall does not come upon them. So what happened over here? Mai behemtam shel tzadikim. Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, so Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, he was traveling. Have ka'azil lepidyon shvuim. He was traveling to redeem hostages. He's going to do a great mitzvah. Hagabe beginai nahara, and he encountered the river called Ginai, and he's with his horse, and he couldn't cross. So what do? Amarle told the river, Ginai, chalakli, cross for me. Chalakli memecha, cross meaning split for me, like the splitting of the seas, split for me. Ve'avarbach, and I will go through you. Amarle, the river said back to him, Ata holich lasos b'tzon koncha, va'ani holich lasos b'tzon koni. You're doing God's will. I'm also doing God's will by all the rivers are going into the ocean by supplying water. That's also God's will. So we're both doing God's will. Why should I stop? So ata safek safek oseh. You're doing something that's of doubt. Who says they're going to redeem the hostage? Maybe you got to try. Who says it's going to be successful? So ata safek oseh safek. Sorry. No, ata safek. One second. Ata safek oseh safek. Iata. Ata safek oseh safek iata oseh. You might do it. You might not do it. You might succeed. Safek oseh. There's a chance that he might be redeemed. A chance he won't be redeemed. Ani vaday oseh. I'm for sure doing God's will, producing water. So, Amarle, im iata cholek. So it goes Rani alecha. If you don't split from me, I'm going to make a decree upon you. Shlo yavru b'cha mayim le'olam. There's going to be no more water coming from this river, which basically means you'll no longer be doing God's will. I'll take it away from you. So chalak, the water split. So now havehahu gavra, the have dare chiti lepischa. Now there was someone else who was carrying chiti lepischa. He was carrying wheat to make matzah for Pesach. Amarle chalakle. So he told the river again, split for this guy. Nami l'hai the mitzvah asik. He's involved in a mitzvah. He's gonna go bake matzahs, and he's doing shimur. He's watching the matzah, the kernels from the beginning of the process, and so he's doing a mitzvah, split for him. So chalakle. it split for him. It didn't start arguing back because it lost the last argument. So, Have Hahu Taya, there was a certain Arab that was the Lava Bahadayu. He was accompanying them. So he was escorting them. Amr Le, Chalakle, Nami Lahai. Split for this Arab who's accompanying them. The Lo Lema, Kach Osim Libnei Levaya. It sounds like, I don't know if he was security. I don't know. Maybe he was helping. Maybe he was helping walk the horse. I'm not sure exactly. But Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair is saying, if you don't split for him, then and he's going to say, this is what happens when we go and escort you. I mean, Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, or the guy, I'm not sure who exactly it's referring to, if it's Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, or the guy with the matzah, or both of them, it sounds like maybe they're traveling together, that he's saying, this is what they're going to say about people who help Jews, basically. Look what happens. It splits for them, and then they leave me on the other side. So split for him too. Sounds like maybe more of it's a different kind of argument. He's not doing a mitzvah, but it doesn't look good. So chalak lei, 3 times the split for him. So Amar of Yosef, wow, kama nafish gavra Moshe. How much greater is Rav Pinchas ben Yair than Moshe? V'shasin ribuin and 600,000 Jews. Dilu hasam chatimna v'hakat lata zimni. There the sea split once. Here it split 3 times. The Dilma, Hachanami, Chadazimna. So maybe here it only split once, but it sounds like it held it for all 3 people to pass. It didn't start flowing again. Ella, so it's not that they're greater, they're just Kim Moshe, Veshisin Ribui. They're like Moshe and 600,000, not necessarily greater than Moshe and 600,000. Okay, so now that's the story. But we still don't know why the animal is so great, the animal of a tzaddik. So we got to keep going in the story. Ikla lahahu ushpiza. Rav Pinchas ben Yair and his animal went to a inn. Now what happened? Ramu, so the animal needed food. So Ramu le sa'ari lechamra. They gave barley to the food. Barley is what is the Gemara says animal food. Wheat is human food, right? We said that's why the 2 offerings that have barley is the sota offering and the omer offering, because the sota did an animalistic act, she gets barley food, and the omer, the Maharal says, is because we were like animals, meaning we're like children, very young when we left Egypt, and we had to become a man, and that takes 49 days of Sfira and Shavuos. On Shavuos, what do you bring? A wheat offering. So we're going from barley to wheat from Pesach till Shavuot. Okay, so they gave the animal barley. However, lo achal, the animal didn't eat it. So next page, chaftinu, they sifted it. Lo achal, maybe make it cleaner, get the big rocks out. Nope, didn't eat it. Nakrinu, they separated. Nope, and they cleaned it out. Lo achal, nope, didn't eat it. So says Rav Pinchas ben Yair to them, Amar lahu dimalo ma'asrin. Maybe you guys didn't take tithes. That's why the animal's not eating it. Says the Gemara, you're right. Asrinu, the second they took tithes off, what happened? The achal, the animal ate. So from here you see, Amar aniyazu holechas lasos ritzon kona v'atem achinos atvalim. The animal's going to do the will of its creator, to helping me go do a mitzvah, and you're feeding it tevel. It's not chutzpah. You're feeding it not tithe food. It's an amazing thing. If the respect is something involved in a mitzvah. Even the animal helping her, when you get there, it deserves a level of respect. Yeah. Maybe nowadays be like a car, treating a car properly. It takes you to shul on Friday, who knows? So it takes you to the hospital to visit people, to read the kids in Mayan, you never know. So now the car they drive themselves as well. So says the Gemara now, okay, so that's the story. Now, we're not done with the whole story, but says the Gemara, hold on. Are you liable in taking off tithes for animals? Who said you're chayiv that you have to take off tithes to give for the animals? If you take halokeach l'zroa ulebehema, you're taking for your, what does it mean for your seed?
Yeah.
Meaning? So grains for seeds or grains for animals, or kemach leoros, or you're taking wheat for the I guess you use wheat for tanning. V'shemen laner, oil for your candle, or v'shemen lasach bo, shemen to anoint yourself with. So then V'shemen lasach bos kalim to anoint your vessels, your vessel or your clothing, vessels, utensils. Okay, so all these cases are pater me ha demai. They're all pater from demai. So if you get these things from a unlearned person, you don't have to worry about it. You are exempt from taking demai. Only the ones that you're going to eat. So, but it says about this, it depends. You're right. If you're just you're buying food from the marketplace from an unlearned person to feed straight to your animals, no tithe needed. But if you're taking to eat for yourself, and then you change your mind and you want to give to the animals, then you do have to take tithes from that. Yeah, you have a question? No. So these people, that sounds like they had the food to feed to the people staying in their inn, but now they have to. The animal was here. They have to feed the animal. So for that, they were still obligated to take off tithes. Now, Kidatanya, it's not an attack, it's a proof. Halokeach peros minashuk la'achila. You took fruits, you took produce from the marketplace for food to eat. So it says if you took food to eat and you change your mind and you want to give it to your animal, so then you shouldn't give it to the animal unless you took off tithes from the food. Okay, so that's that part about the animal. Now his travels continue. Shama Rebbe heard that Rav Pinchas ben Yair was in town, so he got excited. Shama Rebbe Nafak Lape, he went out to greet him. Amar Le, he said, he didn't fill out a hospitality form. He just asked him right away, "You want to come to eat by me?" Amar Le, so Amar Lo Hain, he said, "Yeah." So Tzavu Panah Sharebi, his face lit up. They came all colored, all excited. Such a tzaddik, Rav Pinchas ben Yair, is going to eat at my house. So Tzavu Panah Sharebi. So Amar Lo. So Rav Pinchas ben Yair didn't understand, like, what are you getting so excited about? Do you think I don't eat by people? Kimeduma Ata Shemudur Hanami Yisraelani. You think? I think he's saying a little bit sarcastically, saying, "You think I took a vow that I can't get any benefit from any Jew?" Meaning, why are you getting so excited that I'm eating at your house? Like, relax, yeah? So obviously the answer was because he's having a great tzaddik eat at his house. But Rav Pinchas ben Yair, in his humility, doesn't understand why someone else is excited for that. What do you think? I took a vow, no enjoyment from any Jew in the world. So Shemudur Hanam Yisraelani, he said, Yisrael Kadoshin Hain, Jews are holy. Now, but there's different kinds of Jews. Yesharotza ve'enlo. Some Jews really want to host people. They just don't have the means to do it. The yesh sheyesh shlo. Some people have the means, but they don't want. But he says they're all holy. That's the introduction. Ve'enarotza. Yeah. But they don't want to host. Uksiv about these people, a verse in Mishlei. It says, Al tilcham as lechem ra. I think don't eat the bread that's the lechem, like is a word for eating. Don't feast as lechem ra ayin. People that have the bad eye, meaning more stingy. The al titatav limitimosa. Don't desire their delicacies. Kikemo sha'ar benafsho kainhu achol v'shasa. So it's like kimo shar. It's like you're opening up a soul's embittered. Okay, v'shasa yomer lach v'liba balimach. He'll tell you, "Come eat with me," but his heart's not there. Yeah, sure, come for a meal. So, but his heart's not there. But says Rav Pinchas ben Yair to Rebbe, the Ata Rotze, you want, and we know that Rabbi Dovid Gleizer was very wealthy person. The Yeshlach, you really want to have guests, and you have the means to have guests. So, however, you should know, not right now. Hashtag I have to reject temporarily. Hashtag mitzvah hivna. Why? The milsa the mitzvah katarachna. I'm involved in a mitzvah, so I'll be back soon. So he kept his word. He came back. Ki hadrana asina alaynu legabach. Ki hadrana, he went to him. But he also, when he got to his house, Isrami al baho pischa davu kaiman bay kudnaisa chavarta. There were white mules outside his house, and those are very dangerous. So it says, Pinchas ben Yair, Amr Malach Hamavis bebeso shel zev ani asa. That's low. Listen, I want to eat by him, but it sounds like the Malach Hamavis is here. The angel of death is here. There's dangerous animals by him. Man, you walk to someone's house, your neighbor's house, and there's 10 pit bulls outside his house waiting. Like, what's going on over here? So Shama Rebbe heard like there's a little commotion happening. White mule, Pinchas ben Yair, Nafak la'ape. He went out and he told him what happened. I can't eat by you. There's white mules outside your house. So Amar Le mazvinin lahu. He says, okay, I'll sell them to someone. Amar Le, no, that's v'lifnei ira l'tit mishol. That's putting a stumbling block in front of another Jew. You can't sell a Jew a dangerous animal. Interesting question. Can you sell? Let's say you want to sell snakes. I don't know. You want to sell dangerous animals to other Jews. It could be a problem of living either. So he said, okay, mafkarna lahu. I'll just make them ownerless. I'll make them hefker. Said that's terrible. Mafashta hezeka. Then you're increasing danger in the world. You're making them owners. Now where are they going to go? To someone else's house and hurt them. So okay, so why don't akarna lahu? Maybe I will use your car means to castrate, but here it means I'll remove like probably their hooves. No,